Hello again, I'm Geetha Gurmurthy. You're watching Impact here at the BBC. Now, Aboriginal wildlife rangers have made a rare sighting and sound recording of one of Australia's most mysterious birds. Now, that is the sound of the night parrot, which is sacred to the country's Indigenous people. A small green parrot with a yellow belly and a large head is nocturnal and it's extremely elusive. It had been thought to be extinct until it was spotted in 2013 and then earlier this year. Well, now the birds have been sighted again on night cameras in the Kimberley region of Western Australia. One of the Parrots rangers describes how his team feels about the rediscovery.
We seem to have captured a photo of the night parrot flying by one of our cameras one of the first nights. So it was very exciting for everybody to finally see a picture of it, because we haven't seen one in our lifetime.
Let's find out about it a little bit more on this. Nicholas Leseberg is an expert on the night parrot with Bush Heritage Australia. He spent the last year looking into its population in Queensland and has visited the place in Western Australia where the night birds have been recently spotted. Thanks for joining us. Did you actually see one yourself?
I have seen them before, Geetha, but not at that site in Western Australia. I have seen them at another site in Western Australia. A lot of my research has been done in Queensland, where I have run into them only a couple of times, though. I've been researching this bird for 12 months and I've seen it, I think, 5 times in that entire time.
Why has it become so rare?
A good question, one we're 100% certain of the answer to. It's certainly historically the bird was more common. So back in the late 1800s, it was reported reasonably regularly from arid Central Australia. But then, like a lot of animals from that part of the world, particularly our small mammals, it declined significantly. And it's probably due to a combination of factors: pastoralism, changed fire regimes, introduced herbivores like cattle and sheep, and also rabbits. And then on top of that, probably the kicker was the introduction of feral cats and foxes. And they, like I said, had a big impact on the small mammals. And now that we know a bit more about the ecology of the night parrot, it behaves very similarly to those animals. It spends a lot of its time on the ground. It comes out at night when it wouldn't have been exposed to many native predators, and suddenly there would have been cats that would have, like I said, knocked them off quite easily. So a combination of those factors is probably why it's declined.
And they are sacred, aren't they, to the Indigenous people there? Why is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure quite why they're sacred, but certainly we know that the Indigenous people throughout their range knew about them. They all had different groups had different names for the bird, and they were certainly aware of its presence until and still in some places are. And obviously the good work by these guys in the Kimberley have found it there. So. Yeah, like I said, they certainly knew about the bird, and a lot of the early sightings from the late 1800s are from Indigenous people on the land.
So you've gone from thinking that it might be potentially extinct to finding a few now. Do you have any idea of the numbers, and what's going to be done to try and increase the numbers? Can you do that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and one without an easy answer. It's the truth is this bird is probably widely spread across arid Central Australia, but none of those places will it be common. It seems likely from what we're discovering that it's going to be very thinly spread throughout the landscape. It might not be the sort of bird that you can increase the numbers, but we can certainly take steps in areas now where we know it occurs, and like I said, we're up to now 3-4 spots where we know these birds occur, taking steps to mitigate those threats, or firstly confirm that the threats are what we think they are, but then taking steps to mitigate them will at least allow that population to persist.
And just having one very quick more look at the photograph of it, if we can, it does look like a slightly unusual shape. I think we said you've been studying this for several months. Is it something that really personally fascinates you? How do you personally get so engaged around just one bird?
I'm a bird watcher since I've been a little kid. So to be involved in this everyone who in Australia who knows anything about birds knows the story of the night parrot, and so getting the opportunity to be involved at this